Alright guys, you got your boy Stingren here today, and today we are back with some more reverse 1999 content, and we're here to talk about the man, the myth, the dog, the legend himself, Pickles. Pickles finally got his Euphoria in patch 2.5, and he is one of our first summonable characters alongside Melania, where they were both debuting at patch 1.1, and I remember how excited I was to actually pull for this character way back then, but now let's see how he has since changed with his new Euphoria buffs. Does he slot into really good teams? Is he much better than where he was previously? And of course, we're going to showcase him off in some general content. So let's get right into it. Alright, so we are here now to talk about the man, the myth, the legend himself, what the dog doing? Yes, Pickles is finally here because he here. He got his Euphoria. Let's talk about what it does, and let's talk about how this matters for the current state of the game. What teams does he synergize with, and how is he going to fare coming forward with the newer units that are going to be releasing along the horizon. And of course, we're going to showcase him off in some gameplay content. So let's talk about his Euphoria buff. So let's talk about the level 1 buff, which is quite a dictionary of a effect. But anyway, at the start of the round, it grants a random effect from a collection of buffs to the adjacent ally in front of him for 2 rounds. If the target is a mineral element, grants 2 random effects instead. If the adjacent ally in front of him is of the mineral Philius, he will automatically cast a rank 2 Hinduism implement. This will attack the enemy with the highest HP percentage, which triggers once per round. So that was a lot just out of the gate. Well, one, his collection of buffs are actually very potent. He gets pin rate plus 20%, critical rate plus 15%, crit damage plus 30%, and leech rate plus 15%. 3 out of 4 of those buffs are absolutely insane. Pin rate, and crit damage are always pretty much necessities, regardless as to how you want to look at content. As I always say when I talk about characters in the game, in terms of DPSing, right? Crit rate, crit damage is essentially everything for most characters in the game, because that's how you get your strongest damage output potential, right? That's how you do it. But him being able to give you pin rate too is actually pretty good, because that means you hit effectively a little bit harder with the skill that doesn't have pin rate. And other characters who do have pin rate built into their kit can actually effectively enjoy a higher pin rate because it stacks on top. For example, the newest limited unit, Liang Yu, right, has an 80% pin rate on her level 3 caster per skill, her attacking skill. With Pickles' buff, that jumps up to 100% pin rate, which is, I mean, 100% sounds a lot better than 80, am I right? Am I right? But yeah, it's just stuff like that that, you know, at least helps. And of course, as I always said before, crit rate, crit damage will always be the damage factor kings, unless you're specific like Impromptu, which has its own individual way for calculating, but it still wants crit rate, crit damage in those too. So, you know what I mean? But the only thing that's not as useful as leech rate. The one thing that's good about leech rate is you get some kind of healing for your sustain, and that's really just what it's for. It gives you healing on your sustain, which is, I mean, not your sustain, but healing on your mineral or your partner that you put in front of. You get pretty much a little bit of a small heal for them, which is still something that's effectively useful. It's not something that you should really jump up and down for because it's only 15% leech, but it's still, if you hit a really hard hitting attack, you can heal a lot of your HP back, which can kind of alleviate some of the healer pressure, especially if you're using like a single target healer like Vila for the most part. Then you can allow her to heal someone else while you just kind of rely on your big DPS to do a big nuke, and then you heal some of that damage back. So for what it's worth, if I were to put the priority, it would be crit rate, crit damage as your preferred buffs, because again, they're essential. Then you want pin rate, then you want the leech rate. So I think that's just what you want, but again, very good. Also, another thing we really got to talk about is his automatic casting of a rank 2 Hinduism implement. This is fantastic. Now, the reason why this is fantastic because this is a automatic dispel on demand so long as your mineral ally does an action. Now, it doesn't have to be an attacking action, mind you. So, for example, if I'm using someone like Semmelweis, who's a great partner for him, by the way, if I buff with my Semmelweis, then Pickles can then go in, dispel, thus meaning the attack after my Semmelweis can actually deal a little bit more damage. Or if I'm in a situation where I want to get rid of some enemies that have the the dodge buff on, right? And I wanted to dispel that buff. Well, guess what? I can just use a skill like that and then proceed to just simply cast the rank 2 Endemism Implement. It's great they gave him a rank 2 because only rank 2 and above gives them access to the dispel. If you cast a rank 1, it won't dispel. So the fact that they gave him a rank 2 is absolutely amazing, okay? Thumbs up there, and that's a big boost for him because that means he becomes a much more reliable dispeller. That was one of the issues that you really had to kind of do with Pickles, like in old time content where you had to use him like a mains bulletin, where he would be a great pick for Marsh creation because you kind of wanted to dispel some of those problematic buffs that Marsh gave itself. But you had to make sure that you had a rank 2 on demand. You had to make sure. But if your cards weren't lucky, if you had to do a re-roll of your cards, then you lose your rank 2 and then you may have to suffer a turn or two, which can indefinitely get your team killed. You know, now you just simply have to have a mineral ally with an action available for him to then dispel. And that's great. I think that that's a fantastic buff. Let's talk about his rank 2. His rank 2, after casting Endemism Implement, grants an additional stack of rosin morale to the adjacent ally in front. Again, fantastic. 50% damage dealt up. I mean, damage bonus plus 50% when attacking the target. I mean, that's really good. So he effectively gives you 2 buffs on demand if you're a mineral. Well, 1 if you're a regular, but 1 if you're any other element, but 2 if you're a mineral. And then he gives you rousing morale right after the fact. I mean, it's obviously much better for mineral because if you're not mineral, he's not going to automatically cast Hinduism Implement. So that's going to be the thing that does suck. But if you're a mineral, then you're getting essentially 3 buffs a turn, which is kind of sick, dude. That's kind of sick. 3 buffs a turn? I mean, kind of goated. But yeah. All right, let's talk about his level 3, which at the start of the round, it grants 1 stack of clarified topic. This is good too. A lot of people kind of underplayed this effect, but this makes sure that Pickles will always have the ability to cast his enhanced skills and his enhanced ultimate. While they don't really do anything damaging wise, what this actually does is this makes sure that you have the extra turn available for his buff on his ultimate. If you have the clarified topic and you pop his ult, then he gets 4 turns of his buff, which is damage dealt up plus 30%. If he's at P2, then it becomes 40%. But if you don't, then you just get the standard amount of turns. An extra turn of damage dealt up helps his rotation a little bit more fluidly once he gets his ult rolling. So that's still really good. So there's that. And let's talk about his level 4. After casting Thus Spoke Pickles, grants an extra damage buff effect of 15% to the adjacent ally in front of him for 2 rounds. Now this is a bit of a typo. This little line right here is a typo. It's actually if the ally has the same affiliates as Pickles, then the damage dealt is increased to 30%. You can actually see it here on his actual ultimate skill where it says it right here, and it says if that ally shares the same element. It just says enemy on the Euphoria tab, which is a little bit weird, but it just might have just been a text error. That just might have been it. But if it's the same ally, then they get 30% extra follow-up damage instead, which is pretty good because this is the first buff that we have that directly buffs up the modifier of follow-up damage, which normally we don't really have that. We have things that can help influence follow-up damage. The prime example will be Fatutu. Fatutu is a prime example of something that can influence extra damage modifiers to go a little bit higher, but you don't really have access to a thing that buffs up the skill itself. It's just outside things that makes the skill hit stronger, if that makes any sense. And I know that sounds a little bit more complicated than I'm trying to word it out to be, but for what it's worth, it's actually a pretty cool buff. It's not anything like super crazy. It's 30% if you're a mineral, 15 if you're just a regular other element, which is still fine. I mean, that's still relatively fine. If you want my honest opinion about his Euphoria, it's actually worth investing into because he has a really strong team coming up in the future, and he has a really good team now. He has Ju's team, which is gonna get better actually because Ju in patch 2.7, if I'm not mistaken, got her Euphoria, and she's actually pretty good again, even though she never really fell off in my honest opinion. She's still an S tier unit in my book, but Ju got her Euphoria. She's back kicking. She's back good. In 2.6, you guys are going to have access to Ricoletta. Ricoletta is a fantastic DPS. She's going to be very, very, very strong with him and Millennia as two amplifiers that can help boost up damage. Millennia is going to get some really crazy buffs. I won't talk about it in this video because that's going to be for the future stuff, but just know that that's going to be a team that you can use that can really, really pop off in modern day content. So for what it's worth, Pickles is a unit that can be good relatively right now if you have either Jew or Semmelweis. Those are his two best main partners, I would say, because they're both mineral and they both have access to follow up. But if you really needed to kind of squeeze them in as a general support, then he can still fit. You know, he's still granting you the buffs. The one thing that does suck with Pickles is that you will never be able to get all four of the buffs normally with the other elements as opposed to mineral, because he's only granting you one for a cycle of 4, and those buffs only last 2 rounds. So it is a little bit complicated to kind of make those work, but for what it's worth, he's at least giving you an option of an offensive buffer, and I think that's something that at least works for most people. If you're a newer player and you don't really have some of the most premium options, you have access to being able to Euphoria him, that's still good. If you're a veteran player, then again, I recommend Euphoriaing him because he's actually pretty decent. Now, if you want my honest ranking, I would say he's still an A+ tier unit. I think the whole over reliance on mineral for to get the most use of what he's doing, like the automatic dispel, the rising morale. The rising morale can be applied to anyone, but the automatic dispel, I think that should have been just something he grants to like just regardless of any action or just an extra action in general, because that would have been really cool to have a on-demand dispel for those problematic stages where he could have shined the most in. But for what it's worth, it is what it is. They gave him what they gave him, so I won't really complain too much about it. But for what it's worth, it's still a pretty good overall buff, and I'll just say it like that. It's still really good. It's still fantastic for most in general content. So that's going to be that. But I do humbly think that he is actually well worth the investment. I do think so. I think he is going to be a unit that you're going to be seeing a little bit more of because of, you know, Jew being good and Jew getting better later, and then Ricoletta coming out where she's going to be a fantastic DPS as well. So if anything, if you want my honest opinion, yes, I would invest. And let's get right into it and show them off in some showcase content. Alright, so we are now here with the showcase content. This is going to be the team we're using with our Jew, of course. Mine is P5, so just to let you know, the damage will look a little bit higher because mine is of the P5 tier. So as you can see, P5 Jew, P5 Pickles, P0 for Tutu, and P0 Isolde, I think is the team. Yep. And let's get right into it, and let's go ahead and use it. If you wonder why I'm not using Tutu Scoop, I don't have it maxed yet because polarizations are being a pain for me at the moment, so there's that. Alright, so you can see they do start off with a buff immediately, but we can use an attacking skill here, which will make Pickles dispel. So that's fine. We'll debuff it and we'll just set up the spiritual. And then next turn we'll go for the other stuff. As you can see, boom, dispelled. Now it's not a problem anymore. And then we'll just set this up. So we do have access to ultimate next turn, which is good. We also broke his dodge, which is really good. There's also synergy there with the Ashen Beast too. Ashen Beast will also allow Pickles to dispel because it is a mineral ally in a sense. So let's go ahead and cast Ashen Beast here. Let's do a buff to equalize all our damage. Let's do this into this. We can drop the balloon, and then we could just kind of set up maybe more burn. Sure. Now you're gonna see a lot of follow-ups soon. Like, it's gonna get really funny. It's great that we got a rank 2 of that too, because that means that gets us more stacks of liquor, which will help. So there we go. There's the cast of that. Also, now Fatutu has her ultimate ready, which is great. And there's more access to her follow-ups again. Yeah, I know you just saw all those follow-ups, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. All right. We could try to push for Pickles ult this turn. So we can do this. This will get him his ult. We'll do this, this. We can erase this, sure. And what do I want to erase this turn? Because all these cards seem pretty good. We'll also do this. Actually, nah, that's fine. That's fine. We can. I guess we can maybe erase the level 2 of this, because we'll get more stacks of liquor from our ult. And I can maybe set up another debuff on that. So yeah, I guess that's fine. I guess that's fine. So. Okay, 32k hit, not bad. Should have debuffed first, honestly. And then we'll just set that up for you. Get your spirit shells going. And then we will reset up for Tutu's healing buff too, just to make sure we have it. So it looks like, yep, there's the dispel again. Nice. So let me see. How many spirit shells do you have? His buff is kind of covering it. 4? Okay. So we can do... We could this, and then we can... And I want to keep this, so we'll do this. And then we can thus spoke Pickles for the 15% boost for next turn. Yeah, sure, we can do it for next turn. Because then it means we have Isolde's ult ready to go. Which means you can start stacking up Rousing Morales, by the way. That's kind of the cool synergy between these two. So Pickles was going to go and do a little bit of damage himself. He does have P5, so he can hit pretty hard. But unfortunately, he didn't hit super hard there. So, doesn't hit us super hard. We can use the Ashen Beast also to dispel this too. So we don't have to specifically use the dodge there. But we can use Ashen Beast, which will get rid of the spell. We can this. And then we could just kind of go in for damage, huh? And then we just go in from there. Alright, so all our buffs are now reset up. That is absolutely great. I wonder, can Fatutu kill... Ooh, 38k off that extra... That's that extra damage. But anyway, let's see how we looking on everything else. We're looking good on everything else, to be honest. I could set up another debuff, sure. Let's just do that. Actually, we need the reroll cards, actually, because I need to get another set of actions going for Jew. Let's get rid of that. This, and then I guess we will re-buff up with the 2-2. Just to make sure we have the buff active, so we can split damage equally amongst everyone. Ooh, 40k. Not bad. Mm-hmm. Gonna break that dodge. And how much is that doing? Okay, we only got two, which we had like 16 stacks of liquor. Come on, Jew. Ah, come on, man. You could have cooked. You could have cooked. You could have cooked, Jew. I'll cast this with him, and then I'll get rid of this. Just so we can get his ult for next turn. But that is going to be one of those down. We only have two of them left. So, two left. We have both the Pickles and Jew stuff ready. We might just target the one on the left. He's already taking some damage, so. It's actually so cool how he synergizes with Ashen Beast, dude. That's such a cool... Oh, never mind. We killed... Oh my god. Never mind. Never mind. I thought about just kind of doing that, but never mind. Do we want to do this, actually? How many? 3? And then we can drop this, and then we can just boom, boom. I'm going to throw this in here just to throw it in just for extra damage. But sure. Then Pickles is going to do his damage. Can we crit Pickles? For the one time? For the video? Ah, he didn't crit. He didn't crit for the one time. Ooh, 96k. That's because of that single target split there. Alright, so we should be good to finish him off next turn, honestly. Considering that we're better be doing a lot of follow-ups too. Yep, there's that. Then for 2-2 is gonna come in. So let's go ahead and let's see. I was kind of hoping to get 2 Jew actions here, but I mean, it's not like it really matters. I think he's dead. So this, and we will drop this, and then how many spare shells does he have? 6. And I still have 6 remaining of my equal damage buff, right? I mean, I don't think we really need this now at this point. I mean, the fight's essentially over. I think for 2-2 might just kill him herself. Kill? Kill? Ah, but 2... Okay, there we go. It's dead now. But yeah, there we go. And that is with her in mind, which is really, really nice. That's a really, really strong way to really make the team work. So I think that that's really cool, honestly. I think that that's really, really cool. But anyway, let's get right into it and let's show them off with Semmelweis this time. Alright, so this is what we're going to be running. We're going to be trying this with Semmelweis this time around. This is what we're running. Everyone here is P0 except for Eternity, who's P2. And my Flutter page is P1 for the extra +1 AP. But let's get right into it. Alright, so we can do Ashen Beast to get rid of the effect immediately. We can start to this, and we can Eternity action here, just so we can get our HP a little bit lost. A little bit delayed animation there, Lamau. Looks like it's gonna actually hit a little bit. Yeah, she didn't crit, but... And then that's going to cause him to dispel. Yep. So will this... We'll reset this up, sure. We'll do this just so we can get her ult. And then we will do this. And I guess we can Pickles, sure. Because that can give her her extra damage boost. Which we need to do anyway, so. No, but it hit there. That hit pretty hard. Ooh, 56k a pop. She healed up a lot because of the leech rate thing going, but now she won't deal as much damage, but she's still gonna pop off. So let's just do double actions with her. Let's do this, this, and oh wait, no. This first. We have to Ashen Beast first. This buff, attack, and I could move again to get ultimate ready immediately. I could do that to be kind of like cheeky. So there's that gone. There's a dispel going. 20k on rank 2, not bad. So now Flutter is going to do her thing. So now she has her extra damage bonus going. So 40, yeah, 48k. She's cooking, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, she is cooking. That was so many follow-ups. Yo, God, I love Flutter Page. It was just so much fun. All right, okay. So how do we want to do this? Let's go for a stronger rank 2. Let's do this for the extra AP. Let's. Do you still have the new blood buff active? I'm sure you do, right? Yeah, you do. Okay. Next round, I have to refresh it. All right, boom. We'll do this for eternity. And what do I want to do this turn? I guess we can do Pickles. We can do the rank 1 of this. Because that will give us the ultimate so we can replenish up the extra damage buff, I guess. So I guess that's fine. 40k. Yo. She's hitting 40k. That's... You don't see that every day with Semmel. 80k. Oh my god. Yo, Semmel is cooking. Sis is cooking. This isn't a hard stage by any mean, but still, man, that is insane. Alright, so we're gonna do a rank 3 if this is just a flex. Sure. We'll do this, and then we will attack into you, and then we will just attack into you. We can drop this. Oh no, we need the new blood buff. So let's new blood. Let us do Pickles' buff, your buff to get the ray fuel back up. We will attack you with a level 3, and then we will attack you with whatever, I guess. We don't really even need to do the Ashen Beast this round. Because I think Pickles should take care of it. Crit for me one time, Pickles. Ah, he didn't crit, but he got a big hit off. I wonder what a level 3 kill. It should? Yes, 78k. Oh my god. Yo, dude, she's so strong now. She's so strong with Pickles, man. Pickles MVP. All right, there is the damage breakdown. I didn't do it in the other team, but yeah, it was a lot quicker with this team because we have more AoE control. But yeah, that is your Pickle showcase, guys. Let me know what you guys think about him in the comment section below. Again, I do think he is well worth investing your time into getting him maxed. So without further ado, this has been your boy Stingren. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.